Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Sorry if this was a bit late, I was just doing some stuff, but we're back. We're going to be going back to our 2022 reviews, and we're going to do the most recent film that I've seen this year, The Black Phone, directed by Scott Derickson, and it stars Ethan Hawke. But just before we get into that, my next three videos, to celebrate the release of the new Thor Love and Thunder, I thought I'd review all the Thor films, 1 till Ragnarok. So we'll be doing that after this review, really looking forward to that. And then, of course, when all those films are done, we will do Thor Love and Thunder, a film which I'm very excited for. I've seen the trailers, it looks so good. I've seen early reviews, people are saying it's one of the best MCU films. So expectations are high for me, but that'll come when the time comes, but make sure to look out for those videos anyway. But let's get into the Black Phone review. So the Black Phone, as I said, was directed by Scott Derickson. He directed the first Doctor Strange film, a film which I think is a pretty good film. He also directed another horror film called Sinister, which I think is a very good horror film. It really scares me. And it stars Ethan Hawke, who is a fantastic actor. And this film has a very interesting premise. It's about a child kidnapper who locks a boy called Finney in a basement. And there's a phone that the ghosts of his past victims call to help Finney try and get out. I was really interested by the concept. I mean, the trailers didn't look amazing. It looked like one of these cheap horror films again, and I'm just sick and tired of all these horror films like Curse of Ya Llorona and all that. I'm done with those sort of things. But I gotta say, I was very surprised. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. Funny enough, this is my first ever horror film I've seen in the cinema, so it had a bit of anticipation for me, and I was not disappointed at all. I think the concept, while weird and ludicrous of course, it works. It works for this film. I thought it was used very well, and it just adds to that really creepy atmosphere. But I think the main positive of this film is, of course, Ethan Hawke's performance as the grabber. He does one of his career best performances in this film. He was absolutely brilliant, absolutely creepy and terrifying. I also love what they did with the character's mask. So, like, his face changes, whatever mood he's in. When he's sad, he turns into like a very sad mask. I thought that was a pretty cool detail. I really enjoyed that. It just adds this more creepiness to this character. I also think the child acting was actually very good. I've always been critical of child actors, and I know I need to lay off on that because I know they're still trying to learn. But the two main leads in this film were really good. I really thought they were fantastic. They've had so much chemistry, they felt like real siblings, and you really get to care about Finney, the main character in this film. But of course this is a horror film, you've got to hope that the horror elements are good. I'm thankful to say, most of the time they do work. I'll get into why some don't soon, but the jump scares, there's actually not that many. There's about 3 or 4 jump scares, but they are very good. They did make me jump, they don't wipe away any of the tension. Maybe the last jump scare was a bit cheap, but it didn't really take away much from the overall film, which I do appreciate. It still kept me invested in what I was watching. I also love how one character, I'm not going to spoil, has all these dreams which do help progress the plot. It may sound cheap, but the way they do it, it works. They use it sparingly. They do like 50-50. Sometimes she uses the dream to try and find her brother, and sometimes they don't. So sometimes she has to work on her own. And I really like that. We're not just relying on plot convenience 100% of the time. And it just doesn't feel cheap, which I do like. But this film is also not afraid to go really hard on its R rating. There is scenes, this is a bit of a trigger warning. There is very hard to watch scenes, which even I couldn't watch, of very hard child abuse. I really struggled to watch that. It was even more horrible when the actors were performing it because it just felt so real. I felt like this child was getting abused, and it was horrible to watch. It also does, great themes about standing up for yourself, which Finney does learn in the end. I don't really like that. It relates to be a bit, I'm a guy that needs to stand up for himself sometimes. So I thought it was a great little character arc for the main character, at least. But of course, this is not a flawless film. It does have some problems, and I think the biggest one for me was the music. The music sounds like some of the most generic horror stuff ever. And it just got really cliched, really boring. Like, if you listen to the soundtrack, it sounds like any other cheap horror movie soundtrack you've ever heard. And it's a shame because this was a very good film, and to have it have a really crap soundtrack was just really disappointing to me. I'd expected a bit more flair into that. I also don't get the motivations of characters and reasons for why things are happening. I still don't know why the grabber likes to kidnap children. I mean, a little spoiler. He did say in the film that, oh, I'm going to tell you what's happening and why this is happening. He never goes and tells us. So, I would like to know why you've been kidnapping and killing children. It would be nice to know. With the dreams as well, while they are used sparingly, we never really know why she's having dreams. Does she have like a bad experience with the Grabberwoods before? If you did that, then I wouldn't be answering this question, and it wouldn't be playing on my mind after I've left the cinema. But overall, apart from those two flaws, I think this was a great horror film and a great first horror film to see in cinemas. It has a very creepy tone. It's very creepy. Its acting is fantastic. There is some good characters in there. There is a couple that are a bit weak and don't really do much, but still we let that off anyway. The jump scares are used well. They don't waste away any of the tension. I really like how they progress the plot with these dreams. It's used sparingly. It's not like a plot device. I love the concept of this film. I like so much about this film. I really suggest that you give this film a watch if you love horror films. I think you will be genuinely creeped out about it. As I said, there is a trigger warning with the child abuse scenes. Even I found them hard to watch, and I'm not really a guy who literally turns away at like squeamish and horrible things on screen. But don't let that put you off this film, because I still think you'll be genuinely entertained by this film. Overall, I'm going to give The Black Phone an 8 out of 10. I think it was a very good horror movie. Really highly suggest see it. Yeah, get in the cinema, buy your ticket. I think this deserves a bit of your money. But guys, thank you for watching this video. Remember, I'll be reviewing all the Thor films all the way leading up to Thor Love and Thunder soon, so make sure to look out for that. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a good day, and see you later. Bye bye.